Hello and welcome to this episode. In the previous video, I showed you how to declare variables. And if you remember, the way to declare a variable is to begin by giving the variable a name, for example, nationality, and then you put an equal to and you assign a value to it. So what I need you to remember is when it comes to variables, we have declarations and assignment. Okay, now to declare is to give it a name. To assign is to follow the name with an equal sign and actually put a value in there. In the previous examples, I used textual data like my name, city, Germany, Ghanaian, and everything I used in the example were text. But you are not limited to just storing text in variables. You can store numbers, you can store objects, and I'm going to explain all these things to you in a video that is titled data types. But for now, bear with me that we are using just text to store, like we are storing just text in our variables. It's okay for now until I explain to you the different types of data that you can store in your variables in Python. Now the focus of this video is to show you how to customize how you print out information that you've already stored in your variables. Okay, so I'm going to clear this line. So now I have four variables, one storing my name, another city, country, and nationality. What if I wanted to print out something like my name is, and then followed by whatever has been stored in the my name variable? Let's try something. One beauty of Python is that you can use it as a REPL. So if you are unsure of anything, you can always go to the REPL, test your idea there, and if it works, you can come back into your file and add it. So let me show you that workflow. So I'm going to start Python 3 as a REPL. So I'll say Python 3. So over here, I'm going to declare a variable name is equal to Edward Pi. Okay, then I'll say print, then I'll say my name is comma name. Whoa, it works. So the lesson here is that the print command can be given many things for it to print. Now, anything you include in quote is going to be printed verbatim as is. So Python is going to print exactly what you put in the quote. So let me do an example to explain what I'm saying. I'm going to take the last space I left here, and then you see how it's going to end up showing. You see that it is saying my name is Edward Pi. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to put asterisk here. Now see that it's saying my name is asterisk 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 Edward Pi. What it means is that the print command can be given multiple things for it to print. And the way you give it multiple things to print is to separate the individual items with a comma. And how the command works is it is going to print each of the items you have given it to print separated by a space. That is why if I did this, you see that it's going to print my name is Edward Pi, and it goes to the next stage. Now, there is a penalty you pay for trying to access a variable that has not been defined yet. And by definition, what I mean is that a variable that has not been declared and assigned a value cannot be used because the thing doesn't exist. Okay, you can't use what doesn't exist. Anything you want to use in your program, you should already have created it before the point where you want to use it. Let me show you an example. I don't have a variable called age. So let me try to say print I am as old as, then I will say age. Let's see what happens. Python throws an error, and see how descriptive the error is. It is telling me that there is a name error. Name age is not defined. What is trying to tell me? The name error means that I am trying to use a variable name that I have not defined. Now the question is, how do I know which variable name, which variable I'm using in my program is violating this rule of Python that is causing it to throw this error? So Python goes ahead to tell you that the name, which is age, so what this means is that there's a name error. You are trying to use a variable called age, which has not been defined yet. And so that is going to be a problem. Python doesn't know what to do. You are trying to assess what is not existent. And so it becomes a problem. It doesn't know what to do. So it will throw an error and it is going to end your program abruptly. Now in the REPL, I can define the age. So let's say age is 16. Okay, now that I have age defined, I can press the up arrow to bring back the previous commands. And then once I hit enter, you can see that now it is not throwing an error because age has been defined. I defined age up here. So now Python knows how to find age and then it's going to work perfectly. Let me do one more demonstration. Let's say I try to use a variable called, what can I use? Let's say let me try to print a variable school. Say the school I attended. It tells me name error, name school is not defined. Now let me name a school. So let's say school is equal to which school, let's say KNUST. Okay, so now we have KNUST, which is the value that is stored in the school variable. So I can go back, and now when I type school, you see that Python knows that I am referring to the variable that is called school. So it goes into my memory and read whatever has been stored there and brings it back. So I'm going to quit this terminal, this interpreter session, iterative interpreter. Then in the file, we are going to do the same thing. So I'll come here and say print my name is, then I will say my name. So what it means is that print my name is as is because of the quote here. But once it gets here and it sees my name, it knows I'm referring to a variable. So it will go to my memory, the section of my memory that is addressed by the name, my name, is going to read whatever value is in there and is going to give it to the print function for it to show on the screen. So let's save this, and I'm going to do python 3 app.py, and you can see that it is working just as it worked in the REPL. So I just wanted to show you a workflow where you go back to the REPL to try things out, and once it works, you come to your file to add it there. Okay, now let's demonstrate how the name error thing can happen. So I can also say print I am as old as age. Now let's run this. Ta-da! Name error. Age is not defined because of course age is not defined. Like I said, anytime you use a variable, make sure you have defined it before you try to use it. For example, if I define age is equal to 89, after I have tried to use it, it's not going to work, because remember the Python interpreter executes your code line by line. It executes it line by line. So you can see that when the error happens, it gives you a trace back, or a stack trace, which is an explanation into how the error occurred. So it tells you that in your file app.py on line 7, let's see exactly where the issue happens. See, it is on line 7, exactly where I try to access age when I have not defined it. Okay, so I try to access age before defining it. So it tells me that at that point there is no variable called age that has been defined. So to fix this, what I can do is to move this guy anywhere above where I'm trying to use it. So I can put it here, or I can put it here. Okay, now I'm going to remove this and I'm going to run this. You see that now it's working perfectly. Another thing I want you to understand is that once you declare a variable and you assign a value to it, it is not set in stone. It's not like something that cannot change. It can always change. For instance, over here I said age is 90, but right before I print it, I can say age is equal to 100, and let's see what happens. You see that now it's saying age, I am as old as 100. The reason is that at this point, age was 89, but that is not the point I was printing it. So the interpreter got to line 8 and it updated the value of age to 100. So now when you print age, you're going to get the most recent value that is stored in that section of the memory. So the takeaway you need to have is that a variable returns the most recent value that you placed in that section of your memory. And once you declare a variable, it is not like something you cannot change. You are free to change it. There are some rules governing that, and in subsequent videos at the appropriate time, I'm going to explain to you how these rules work. So thank you once again for watching, and don't forget to leave your comment in the under this video, and I promise to reply to them as soon as possible. Thank you, and see you in the next video.